All right, now we're going to talk about dividing polynomials, but this time with a binomial this time. So a binomial instead of with a monomial. With a monomial, it's pretty simple, but binomials can sometimes cause a little bit of stress or uncertainty like this guy feels. So remember, we want to get from this stage to turn a little happier, a little excited, but right now you might be a little confused when you look at a problem such as this. So let's take a look at that example. I have 7w squared plus 3w minus 4. This is a trinomial. You're dividing it by w plus 1. So one way you can look at this, and later on in higher math they call it synthetic division, similar to this, but not exact. So what I can do here is I'm going to ask myself, if I look at just this first term, w times what is going to give me 7w squared? Well, I tell myself, I need to multiply this with a 7 and with a w. If I multiply 7w with w, I'm going to get 7w squared. 7w times 1 gives me 7w. All right, so now, just like I do in division, long division, I'm going to go and subtract these two terms. So this minus that goes away. This minus that is going to give me negative 4w. Then I bring down this negative 4 and I ask myself, w times what will give me negative 4w? And so I say, well, that would be negative 4. So negative 4 times w is negative 4w. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. And voila, when I subtract these two, I end up with 0 as my remainder. So this is telling me that w plus 1 times 7w minus 4 should give me this top trinomial. And I can double check that with a little area multiplication. I have time to do that, so I'll do that now. I'm going to make a 2 by 2. w plus 1, 7w minus 4. And I'm going to go fill this out here and find out if I get the right answer. Okay, just in case you're still confused. 7w squared, negative 4w, positive 7w, and negative 4. If I write this out, that's 7w squared. These two diagonals here combine together to give me 3w, and then I have my negative 4. And voila, that is the same as before. So I can double check that this times that does give me the top one, and so that would be my answer right there. Okay, so hopefully you feel a little bit like that guy. If you do, I want you to try this one out all by yourself. You can pause the video, check it out, and see what you get. So if you still feel like that, I'm going to help you out. So let's see this first one. All right, so I'm dividing by 3n minus 1. I ask myself once again, what times 3n is going to give me 6n squared? I say, well, I need a 2n. If I multiply by 2n, that times that gives me 6n squared. Then I got to do the rest. 2n times a negative 1 is negative 2n. I can then subtract that. If I subtract that and that goes away, this and this is going to give me, well, let's see, subtract a negative. Subtract negative means I'm going to turn it into a positive. So 7 plus 2 is going to give me 9n. Now I ask myself, 3n times what gives me 9n? Well, that's going to be 3. So let's see what I get. 3n times 3 is 9n. 3 times a negative 1 is negative 3. Now, I forgot to bring this guy down. Now I can see they're exact opposites, so I'm going to subtract it and I get 0. And so this is my final answer. I can double check my work very quickly and check to see, does 3n minus 1 times 2n plus 3, does that product, will that equal that top part? That's how I'm going to check my work. So let's move him over here and let's try this one out. Make a 2 by 2. 3n minus 1, 2n plus 3. I fill this out and see what I get. 6n squared minus 2n plus 9n minus 3. First term is 6n squared. The next two combine together to give me 7n, and then I get my negative 3. And sure enough, yes, it does work out. So this is my answer here. Otherwise, right there. Hopefully that helped you out with some dividing with binomials. There are some examples where you have a remainder, and I'll leave that for questions during class. So I hope that you changed from this feeling and this feeling started to take over, that you got it. If you didn't, go watch the video again and then make sure you have questions for me in class.